Hello and welcome to the jungle garden in Denmark. Finally it is warm enough to take the winter protection boxes off the plants. It is today 10 degrees Celsius. Whoa, it's almost a heat wave. We still have temperatures around 1 or 2 degrees Celsius at night, but as long as the plants get a chance to warm up during the day, they haven't got a problem with that. I am filming here at the New Zealand bed because, quite frankly, that's what looks best at the moment. I'll take a tour around the garden so we can look at the devastation, because it has been a terrible winter. And here are all the polystyrene boxes after they've been taken apart, waiting to get into storage until they are going to be used again. So let us start from the end of the garden, the beginning of the garden, with the bamboos. Like I showed last time, I think, they have been doing quite well. They always do, the Philostachys, except for the black one in the middle, Philostachys nigra. That's not doing too good, so that will probably be replaced with something else. And by the way, I am going to show the garden before ugly dead stuff has been cut off. There'll be weeds everywhere. You're going to see it as it looks the most terrible it can. Here's one of the tree ferns, and it looks like they always do in spring. There's plenty of dead fronds hanging down, but there's also plenty of new crosses in the middle, like little lumps. So I am fairly positive that has done okay. So here next to the tree fern, we've got our little mini pond that hasn't been cleaned up yet, so it looks exactly what you expect. Not very nice. And in the background we've got an acuba, and they always do well. Totally hardy, no problems. And a fatsia that doesn't look too good at the moment, but I can fix that, take away all the dead stuff, and it'll look fairly good. But in the background, and I actually think I showed this in the last video, here we have got a Trachycarpus wagnerianus. We call them waggies, and it is dead. The middle just came right out. Next to it we've got a big Trachycarpus fortunii. We call them food, and that doesn't look too good either, but it's not dead. The middle shoot is okay, so I'll just have to get rid of all the ugly leaves, and then it'll look fairly decent. Next to it, and I don't even know if you can see it on the screen, but next to it we've got another waggy, completely dead. So this winter hasn't been very good for our waggies. I think we've got 7 or 8 in total in the garden, and they're all gone. And this is just an area of the garden that has been completely destroyed. 3 dead eucalyptus trees, and in the front those 2 dark lumps are what's left of our more than 2 meter high Phormium variegata. They were huge. They were so big that my husband didn't think he could make a polystyrene box for them, and so he made something else, and that wasn't good enough. Not for this winter anyway. So we learned that the hard way. I've got 2 other Phormium variegata in another place in the garden, so I have decided to move one over, just one, because now I know how big they get. And they were so big that we couldn't really see what was behind them, which also made it hard to protect the trees behind them. And then I'll have to find some new eucalyptus trees. There are some that should be more hardy than these ones, They're very difficult to come by for us in Denmark, but I think I know where I can get them. And then we'll have to see if they can survive better. So, yeah, when something dies, you get a new opportunity. It's just annoying that you have to do it like this. This is a Fatsia polycarpa green fingers, and it has made a little side shoot, as you can see, that has survived. Really strange, because the mother plant didn't. You can see that dry stick in the background. And here are the two Phomia variegata I talked about. You see, one is bigger than the other, and I think I'll move that over where the dead ones are, which is just to the left of me now across the path. And then I'll move the smaller one a bit further forward. In the background, we've got some of our banana plants, Musabashu, and as always, when they're protected with polystyrene boxes and a heat cable, they have done quite okay. We have managed to keep the trunks. You can see one in the background as well. They have tried to start to shoot up again, but then we just had a very cold night, and that put an end to that. But I'm pretty sure they'll be okay. I can't be bothered to keep showing dead waggies. Here's another one. That's the last one we're going to look at. So the thing with buying the plant small doesn't work here in Denmark. And in here behind we've got a Trachycarpus nova, which is not looking pretty, but it survived. So I think I will replace the waggies with novas instead. On top of that, that should be the fastest growing Trachycarpus of them all, so that's only good. In the background you can see we have, I suppose you can't say coppiced, but then pollarded our Polonias, or that Polonia, and we've done the same thing to the others. Instead of coppicing them, now we give them a head start. And then there's plenty of dead ferns that hasn't been trimmed yet. So now I've turned around, so I've got the sun in the back instead of right into the camera. This is one of the cordyline that has been protected with a polystyrene box and a heat cable, and in my opinion it's looking really good. You can't really say the same for this Euphorbia stygiana in front of it. I think I already showed that in the last video. That's a goner, and yeah, I'll just have to think of something else. Now I've tried twice with stygianas and they just can't survive here. And the same for this fascicularia bicolor, can't survive. This is the last I had of 6 plants. It was the only survivor from last winter, and this winter certainly hasn't made anything better. In the background here we've got a catalpa with absolutely no problems at all. And here is what we call the mountain with the dead camerops. I think I showed it in the last video where it already showed clear signs of being dead. Luckily I found a very nice pickup plant in a place called Cheap Flowers, which it was. So it'll be replaced when we get to it. The rest of the so-called mountain is looking fairly good. So, some plants have done okay and others haven't. The yuccas are always doing fine. They've been under the roof and that's enough for them. Just have to prune off the ugly looking leaves and then they're back to looking good. And in the front we've got that very small Yucca rostrata, which is doing okay. It's not growing very fast, but I guess we'll get there. And then up here there's a Dasylirion longissimum which hasn't made it, and I don't think I can have that plant in my garden anymore with the winters we're getting. So it'll probably be replaced with cordateria or something like that. And here is our Jubea chilensis, which I think is looking fairly good. It is. It has a few brown spots on the leaves, and I think that's where they've touched the polystyrene box during the winter, because we do protect it, even though it should be very hardy. But it's very expensive because it's so slow growing, so I don't want to lose it. And here is the stony bed next to the mountain where I've got 2 bootias, and yes, one of them is not looking too good, but it didn't when I moved it here, and that was why I moved it. Where it didn't get enough sun, so I hope it'll recover. And I know it looks like a real mess with weeds and things everywhere. I'll get around that sooner or later. But as I say always, there's something missing in this bed. So I think I will plant some echiums, and I've got a I don't know what it's called in English, Eremurus, somewhere else, and where it doesn't get enough sun, and I'll move that over here as well. And here is a dead cordyline. It was protected with a polystyrene box, but we had forgotten to put a heat cable on it, and it just proves that is what it takes nowadays. And here next to that rock, we've got what's left of one of our tetrapanax. It looks dead. I don't know if it is. It might shoot again. We never know. So we'll just have to wait and see. Even though this has been protected by a polystyrene box, it hasn't done very well. Then we've got the loquat tree, and as always, it's done absolutely fantastic in this horrible winter. Yeah, there are some brown leaves, but you can remove them and then it's looking as good as ever. And it's not protected at all. What an amazing plant. And this is the fig tree. It doesn't look too good. Lots of dead branches and not a single bud inside. There's still time because it hasn't been very warm, and it hasn't been above 5 degrees for very many days. So I guess there's still time, but it doesn't look too good at the moment. And here we have another cordyline australis looking fairly good, I think. Yeah, a few brown leaves that we can take off, and then it is looking good again. No problem at all. And here in the foreground there is dead leaves from Crocosmia. I'll just have to prune them off and then it's good to go. And here is a banana, Musa bashu, that's already producing new leaves, as you can see in the top. So it's proof that the polystyrene boxes work. And here is the center of destruction with dead palms everywhere. Waggies, a dead Fortunii, a very damaged Fortunii here. And in the background over there behind the bench, some other damaged palm trees. It has been a hard winter. And then here in the front, across the path, there's a dead Mahonia soft caress. The 2 banana plants in the background, they are beginning to put out new leaves, but I think they have to be cut down a bit more so we get some new growth. But then we've got the devastated palm trees here, dead waggies and damaged Fortunii. Lots of rebuilding to do in the future. Even our big fat japonica has been damaged. I have already started pruning it a bit, but I can see there's a lot more to take off. And here we have a couple of banana plants They have had a bit of cold weather, so the top has sort of been blackened off, but we'll just cut them down a bit more, and then they'll make new shoots, no problem at all. And the phormium in the foreground is also doing okay, because it has been protected by a polystyrene box. But look what we found in our local discount supermarket. And no, they were not cheap, but they were a lot cheaper than if I had to buy them anywhere else. And I know that all the clever plant people, they say that you should buy small plants or small palm trees because they establish better and they grow as fast as the big ones. But that's what I've done, and now I've got 8 dead waggies in the garden, not very big, and they haven't grown at all since they were planted. So now we're trying some big ones. Hopefully they'll get established enough before next winter. Here's a big tree fern, and it looks like the other spot. There's plenty of knuckles in the middle, so I'm pretty sure it's okay. The dwarf bamboo here needs a snip. With some scissors have been pruned a bit, all the dead leaves, but sorry about this wind. But otherwise it hasn't really been harmed, and this whole bed here has been done fairly good. It has been the bamboo hedge that has really taken the brunt of it, as you can see. The other paulownia has been pollarded too, and this is the Eramuros I want to move. So I can see I'm in a bit of a hurry because it's already fairly high. The yuccas have done fairly good. They have been protected by a roof so that it didn't get too much snow and rain into the crown, which killed them in an earlier winter. So I'm pretty satisfied with them. I'll remove all the ugly looking leaves and then they'll be good as gold. And this is the Australian bed, where luckily most of the plants have been lifted and they are safe indoors in the stable, and except for the eucalyptus tree that normally do okay out here, but not this year. Another big project is the courtyard. Normally I have got lots of pots with plants, palm trees and other exotic things, but it's just very difficult for me to water out here because it's very uneven. So I can't walk on it, and it's really also difficult to get around here on the scooter. So this all has to be changed. The water feature is going, and there'll be a bed with plants instead, and we'll make it so I can get to the other side, because at the moment it's really hard for me to get over there and water things. A big project, but I hope we'll have time to do it this year. The pond and the fish are doing okay, and we have done the yearly spring clean out of the pond, which makes it look a lot nicer than after the winter. And that was it. Just a boring spring tour around the garden. As you can see, we've got lots of rebuilding to do, and on top of all the other projects. So thank you for watching.